Hey, Jeremy Kennedy here, and in this video, I'm going to show you my case studies for a $297 product and $397 product that I sold using my super simple sales system, which is using basically what you're seeing now, Google Documents and that kind of thing. And here's the actual case studies. I want to show you what I actually did, my sales letter that you're actually looking at now, and what was involved, what I sold in it, and basically everything. I want to give you this and give you everything as a part of this, because this is how you can level up what you're doing with the super simple sales system and what you're doing in your business and in your life. Okay, so this is really cool. Now, I want to point out that this case study comes about a year, almost exactly a year later from me releasing the initial super simple sales system. So this video that you're watching now, depending on when you're watching it, is fairly recent. Okay, this is May of 2020. And it will probably still be relevant even for another few years. If you're watching this years later, sometimes you can get a hold of products years later. Don't let the oldness of this fool you if you're watching it years later, because the concepts can be still used the same. Okay, and so that's what's really important here. The fact that we're using Google Documents is really no big deal. It's what we're doing. It's the business that you're building with information products. That's the big deal. And that's what I'm here today to show you more about, how to really take this to the next level. The people that initially got the super simple sales system didn't get this case study. This is a brand new video if you're getting this in anywhere past May of 2020. So I'm going to go through this whole thing. And I want to also mention that somebody came to me later, and I'm not featuring this guy, but he was selling a $10,000 product in a Google document. Now, granted, this is a year after I released the thing, right? And so he's had time to build a $10,000 product. And I've agreed not to tell anybody about him or what he's doing, just because I don't want to create that competition for him. But that just blew me away. And somebody else had actually initially pointed it out to me. And I was just like, oh my gosh, that's insane. So this can work at literally any price point. And today I'm showing you that it can definitely work at the mid-ticket price points, and he's doing it with high ticket. And I'll work on trying to get to feature him, but I don't think that's going to happen because it's pretty slick. This whole little system's pretty cool. I don't mean slick in a mischievous way. I mean slick in it makes the whole sales process so much easier. You don't have to go through and build sales pages and stuff. Now, here's the deal. You can take this to the next level and incorporate an actual website with it, but letting this Google Documents can be the initial sales piece to get people in and fill the order. So that's what's really cool about this, is the document can just be the first thing they see to actually sell it. And it makes it so much easier to sell proof of concept of something. So if you can sell something through a Google document, it's sellable, right? And then if you want to, then you can go and invest the time and money to build real legitimate funnels and stuff like that if you want to. That way you can incorporate, paid advertisements and just kind of take it to the next level. Because, there's something to be said about always leveling up. But no matter what level you're at, even if you're selling $200, $300, $400 products, $10,000 products, you can still use the same system. And that's what's really beautiful, and that you should understand, is that it's much more about the methodology of the sales processes. It's not so much amazing that we're just using Google Documents. That's not really the amazing part. The amazing part is the methodology of us being able to sell stuff in this manner and actually being able to help people and provide real value. You're going to be able to see that in this today. I was able to help a lot of people through the offer that I created that you're about to watch here now. Let's go ahead and dive into this and talk about this case study. And so, and I encourage you to keep this stuff to yourself. Okay. I ask you to keep it to yourself. This is important information that's truly can change your life. And so, share it with friends and family. But be cool about it. Don't pass this around so much. It's okay if you've got a best friend or like I send my mom pretty much. I'll just be truthfully honest here. I send my mom pretty much everything that I buy that she asks for. She'll because it's my mom. It's okay. Send this to your mom. That's cool. If it helps your mom out, that's great. But try to keep this stuff to yourself because this is really powerful. And the less amount of us doing this, the more effective it will maintain, the more people we can impact. But let's go through here and look at this sales letter and this offer that I created. Now, first thing to note is this thing is, as you can see, is 42 pages long, okay? This is a sales letter. But I want you to also be thinking that I wrote this almost like an ebook. I wrote it almost like an ebook so I could basically call it an ebook. And it's a 42 page, but at the end of the day, it's a sales letter, right? But it feels like an ebook. And so you can present it as an ebook when you write it this way. And it's essentially my whole story. Right here is my whole story of, I'm not going to read this whole thing to you. I don't think you want to I'll give you the link. I'm going to give you the link to this here in a little bit. So you can actually go and read the whole thing for yourself if you'd like to. But I going to basically overview it for you. So I come in and I initially grab their attention and I'm saying, hey, this is an important secret. This is for real. Give me your attention for a second. Okay. And I kind of get a little funny little image just to let them know who you are so they can get the picture of you in their mind. You don't have to do that, but I like to let them have that picture of me in your head, fairly soon. So you know who's talking to you. That just makes a difference when you're reading the stuff below. Right. And so I have this goofy little grin and whatnot, but I continue on and I get their attention and I start to tell them my story. All right. And how I started out way back in the 2012, how I learned this secret 2012 and how it changed my life. But at the time I had a 1-year-old son, wife stayed at home, and it was the same old story. I had a low ceiling hourly wage job. I wasn't really happy. I was trading my time for money. Just going through my story, talking about how, has this become my life? And then I go through and I tell them what the secret is. All right, I tell them what the secret is that was so phenomenal to me and that changed my life and was a pivotal moment in my life. And it had to do with creating information products, right? And so I go through and I give some really good tidbits on how that impacted, and I show that not only has this information started to work for me, but this thing started to change the lives of other people. And I show examples where other people that I helped got some crazy results from using this secret that I learned and using the formulas and the ways that I went about going through and doing this. And see, this is my mom right here. Remember I told you that I share everything with my mother? Well, she actually did the same thing, was created her own info course. Okay, if you haven't figured out the secret by now, is selling information products is part of the secret, but you need to know the full secret. That's like half of the secret, is selling information products. But you got to know the other half of the secret that makes it really, really powerful. When I learned this about information products, this is what that secret, that's what changed it all for me. When I realized this part about information products, and why it was so successful, and just the sentence of the secret that you'll learn in this sales letter, if you go through and read it, is really what really unlocked everything for me. Anyway, it does have to do with going through and creating the information products, because that's what's changed my life. Being able to sell info courses, sell the knowledge in your head, and sell your experience, and sell, and people will buy that because they want to shortcut their way to success, just like you bought the courses to get access to this video, because you want to shortcut your way to success. And this video will absolutely do that. It will. If you take the information that you're learning in this video to heart, you're going to be able to make a ton of freaking money. I'm not even joking. A ton of freaking, $397 products is no joke. Some people would call that small ticket. A guy that's selling 10K courses would call that small ticket. But to me, it's pretty decent money. I call it mid-ticket. I think high ticket is $5,000 and over. And mid-ticket would be anywhere from, $197 to up to $5,000. And I think that's a fair way to call mid to high ticket. But anyway, my mom actually went through and created her first ever info course and made a boatload of money too. Okay. And so I pointed out that I proved the concept. Okay. And whatever this may be for you, you might not be selling information products. You might be selling, how to be a plumber, or how to lose weight, how to gain 6-pack abs, right? And this could be a testimonial of a guy that you showed some of your exercises to, some of your diet routines to, and they got a 6-pack in their abs. It could have been you, or you lost 100 pounds and you showed your friends how to do it, or showed your friend what to do, and your friend lost 20 pounds, whatever it may be. And so the more proof that you can stack in here that it works for other people and not just yourself, makes a huge impact on your customer sale, on your sales, obviously, right? But at the end of the day, you might initially just have your own success, and that's fine. If you only have your own success, just keep highlighting that in here, that this has worked for me. And the best way to let somebody know that your process works is to tell them the story of how you came to learn it and how you came to come about and solve it. And then you sell them you give them the what, you tell them the what, and you sell them the how, right? So I went through this long journey, and I went through this process with my problem, and then I overcame that problem. And then once I overcame that problem, I realized I could help other people overcome that problem. And so I documented the process of how I overcame that problem. And now I want to give to you today the same process, right? And you're going to see here later in this case study where I go a step above that. I don't just give them an ebook, and we're going to go into that. Okay? And then I give them some examples of some hurdles that people normally have, I just can't decide on a niche or what to write about. But see, there's a new twist that I have on the information products process, which you already know, right, is the super simple sales system. So these testimonials up here, these were people that I helped to do full courses with, right? And I outline that in this thing. This in my story, I tell them, I went through and I learned the process of how to launch products, and then I taught other people how to launch their own products the normal way, and they did great success. And then my story continues to say, but I found that people have a really hard time launching a product with a sales funnel and web pages and all that, because a lot of times the technical hurdle, and it just seems like this huge impossible task. And then I talk about, I created this new information products process, and as you know, you and I know, it's the super simple sales system. And in this particular case, I actually tell them that. Okay, I tell them what the actual solution was. I go down here and I tell them, and because this is basically an ebook, right? Remember, it's like they're reading an ebook. It's a long letter. You can call it a letter. You can call it an essay. You can call it a white paper. You can call it an ebook. You can call it a quick tutorial, a how-to, you can call it a story, a case study, call it whatever you want. But at the end of the day, it's the story of how you came across this solution. And so in this offer, I tell them what it is. I tell them that I go down and I tell them it's using the Google Docs process. And I actually point out to them, look, you're in it right now. You're reading this Google document. This is how I produced these results, and you see some of these same results that I put in here for the super simple sales system that was $25, right? And so because customers got results with this system, the super simple system. All right. And so I point that out, and then I point out that, hey, it's using Google Documents. Now, I don't go through and tell them the whole process. I just point out that, hey, it's using Google Documents, and you're in this whole process right now. And there's a very important reason why I revealed the method here. And the same thing, if you were doing a webinar or something high ticket, mid to high ticket, it's something to think about, is to go ahead and just tell them everything. Or not everything, but go ahead and don't feel like there's this need to be so secretive. Actually, the more transparent and honest you are, you'll find that you can sell much higher price points a lot easier. The blind stuff can work for lower ticket, but the more transparent you are, the more you'll sell. And a lot of people don't actually realize that, but it's true. And if you watch some of the greatest marketers, they're ultra transparent, and they give you the kind of the what and a little bit of the how, but they sell you the big how, and the next two levels. So let me explain these three levels real quick of info products before I go any further, and that way you'll understand what I'm about to tell you in this next process. So Russell Brunson teaches that there's basically three types of products when it comes to like information digital products and that kind of thing, and helping people. And that is, the first level is do it yourself. Okay, and that's your typical ebook, your typical $25 ebook that teaches somebody, or $19 ebook, Google document, call it what you will. That's a low price point offer that just basically teaches them the process, and they have to go and do everything themselves, right? And that's what you're normally kind of like your lead generation tool for a low ticket lead gen. And then the next level of that is done with you, and that is like a coaching group or mastermind group kind of thing, or for example, 30-day challenge, which is what I did, that teaches them the process, but you're actually doing it with them. So they get the training, but then they're also getting it done. You're doing it with them. You're helping them along the way. You're coaching them along the way, answering their questions along the way, and doing whatever you can to help them in that process. All right, that's the done with you. And then the next level, where really you see a lot of high ticket, is in the next level, and that's done for you. And that's basically services that you're providing for other people. And a lot of times when you're doing done for you, you'll actually just reveal everything in the whole method and just go through everything and just, tell them exactly how it's done, but say, yeah, but you don't want to have to do all that, right? How about I just do it for you, right? And you can charge, especially when you're talking business to business, you can charge insane prices for done for you. But those are basically the 3 levels. Now, the level that I chose was the mid-level, was the mid-ticket, was the done with you. I chose to do a 30-day challenge. And so I turned that simple course that you went through, the super simple sales system. All right, I created a small little video course. I showed you you've been through that whole course. And then I took that concept and I said, okay, how about for the next 30 days, I do it with you? All right, here's the process. But for the next 30 days, I'm going to help you actually build it and get the sales. And here's what I offered inside the thing. And I point out how simple it is. Hey, if you can write 3 Google documents, you could basically get sales, right? But see, here's the next level of this. Remember I was saying earlier that the Google document can just be the sales page. You can take it beyond that and build things beyond that, like a website. If you have experience enough to do that kind of stuff, even if you don't, you can learn how. It's really easy. But for example, I gave them access to a Facebook group. Okay, and an actual full members area in a website members area, which I have a screenshot of below, I think. We'll get to that. But first thing I pointed out, I put together a full members area, a Facebook group for 30-day challenge members only, and I show them a screenshot of the group, just to kind of make it real. You want to make it real, show that there's actually members in there. There's a lot more members in there now. And then I actually post some screenshots from within the group. Now, these screenshots right here weren't here before the very first time that I sold this thing, right? I got these screenshots afterwards and then added them later. Okay, but they're there, and every time you get a good testimonial like that, always grab it and put it on your thing, all right, for future customers to come by, and you get more customers. The more testimonials you have, the better, right? And I pointed out just a few of those screenshots. And then I said, here's the members area. I actually built a members area. I used Thrive Architect, and Thrive Academy, well, they have a membership site plugin, and you can see it in there. I forget the name of it right now, and I don't want to look it up. So it's Thrive. It's Thrive Architect System. Okay, and they have a membership area builder. And so you can see it's really easy to build these membership areas using Thrive and WordPress, by the way. And ClickFunnels, if you want to pay $97 a month to ClickFunnels, you can do that and build a really nice membership area there as well. Pretty easy, depending on what you want to do. And if you're selling a $297 product, which is very sellable, by the way, price point, very sellable. Even $397 was sellable. $497 is sellable. Yeah, in the info product space, it's really nothing. People sell stuff for thousands of dollars pretty easily in the info online space. So a $297 product is nothing. And so you only have to sell one of those, and you cover, not even a portion of that. Just $97 of that would pay your ClickFunnels every month if you wanted to go the ClickFunnels route. I'm more of a self-hosted kind of guy. I like the WordPress because I like more control. And Thrive, I've come to find, I really like it. I like it better than ClickFunnels. And so that's what I use to build this membership area. It's really simple. And it looks like there's a whole ton in here now, but it wasn't to begin with. Here's what was in here to begin with. I had a start here, and then I had a pre-challenge training, which was just 10 videos that was like, okay, here's what you're going to learn here's what we're going to be doing during the course of this challenge. Okay, and the pre-challenge training is basically here's how to do it. And the reason that I give that to them is because I want them to be able to take action right away before the live calls even start. The way that I did this 30-day challenge was that I did a live call each week delivering the training over the next 30 days. So it was 4 weeks. And then I just happened to keep doing each week. I still do the live calls, but I did it for 4 weeks. That's what I offered in the thing, 30 days. But I had some initial training in there so they could get started on something, so that once they immediately got in that members area, they could have something. Now, it doesn't even have to be your full-blown training. Just a little, it could be one little video, right, in your pre-challenge training or pre-whatever training that's just gives them something that they can start doing right away. And I felt that was important, so I put those in there. It didn't take me long to put those together because I had already created them from the Super Simple Sales Letter, or Super Simple Sales Challenge. Okay, and so I just took the same videos that were in the Super Simple Sales Challenge, and I put them as the pre-challenge training, right? Does that make sense? And then I said, okay, for the next 30 days, I'm going to do it with you. And so over those 4 weeks, each Monday, I held a live training session, and I would walk them through every part of the training in much more detail, right? And then I would answer questions right there on the call for people live. So if people had questions, and then they could also go into the Facebook group at any time. It was a very active group. It still is pretty active. And people really love that personal interaction that they can get. And it's really not, it's not an overwhelming amount of work. I mean, you go in there once a day and for 15 minutes, and you can basically take care of whatever you need to in 15 to 20 minutes a day, or much less, and be done. Just pop in every now and then. Make sure there's not any questions. And so maybe add the occasional content. But, and that was it. I also put together some additional resources. Like I created checklists for them. I created a workbook, which is a 30-day challenge companion workbook. I thought was really cool, and they did too, was where I created a workbook for every week. I've got in that workbook, I've got actual activities that they can do for that each week's training, right? And so they have actual assignments and actual stuff they can complete, fill in the blank stuff, and actual activities they can complete to finish that whole training. If they complete all the activities, they're going to have what they need built, right? And so that was very helpful. I created, like, for example, they need help with sales letter. So I also created a sales letter template. I based it off another one, but I created my own version of it that I thought has worked well for me for a long time. And so just any kind of tools and things that you can give them will be very helpful. And so they found these extra tools helpful beyond just training. All right. And so I went through this process, breaking it down. And then I also pointed out the value, and I pointed out that they're getting a discount. And then I again kind of mentioned, look, I should charge $1,000 to join this, because that's the kind of program you see 30-day challenges. They're $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 I've seen them for. And even my members were agreeing that, hey, it should be $997. And I just pointed that out. And I also pointed out, hey, if you get results with this system, here's the amount of results it would take to equal the value. right? And so, for example, if you sold a $20 ebook, you would only need 50 sales to pay for this, right? What are the chances if you sold 50, you'd just stop and make $1,000, you'd just stop there? If I charged $1,000 for it, which I'm not, right? I didn't charge $1,000 for it, but I said if it was $1,000, you would only need to sell 20 or 50 of a $20 ebook. But I said, I'm not going to charge you that much. And so I broke it down and broke it down and broke it down and broke it down and said that, boom, it's going to be $397, 60% off for only $397. And I feel like that's a very reasonable price point. $397 for 30-day challenge, and guys are charging $3,000 for it, right? Anybody knows that's a good offer. And so I pointed out again, by the way, that's only 20 sales of your $20 report, which, that really hammers it home to them for the value that they're getting, right? 20 sales and you can have unlimited high ticket, mid ticket income, or not even that, just from $20 ebooks, right? And so I just went through this whole thing, the whole process, and I gave them a couple bonuses and just really kind of try to seal the deal there. And then you go through, and this is always important, to add Q&A, like questions and answers, common questions and answers that you get, because it could be one question that's holding them back, and you've got the answer for them right there. Well, especially if somebody emails you and says, hey, I've got this question about your program, definitely copy that question and paste it onto your sales page and answer it, because if they've got that question, it's highly likely multiple people have that question. And so that's the whole process of how I did this, right? And I sold it initially I sold it for $297, and then I raised it back up to $397. I'm thinking about putting it back down to $297 only because of this whole everybody's gone out of business, and everybody's losing their job and that kind of stuff. And I don't want to make it too hard for people. I understand that a lot of people that are doing this are just getting started online, so money's not like a huge it's something they're trying to get right now. So I'm not targeting this towards the pro information marketer, even though the pros could absolutely benefit from this. Trust me, they could. I've been doing this since 2012, so they can learn a thing or two for sure. But that being said, I've really pointed this more towards the average person that really hasn't gotten a great start in internet marketing yet, and that needs the right direction. And because for me, that means information products, right? It really does, because that's what I know works. Selling information products has worked in and out month after month after month since 2012 for me. It's generated hundreds of thousands of dollars in those years. And I know so many other people now that I've grown networks with that make bukus. I know people that are doing $100,000 a month all day long. Because that's only 100 sales of $1,000 product. Imagine if I sold this for $1,000. It would only take 100 of the sales to get $100,000, right? And I could totally do that. But right now, this is more about helping other people than it is me trying to make a bunch of money. Sure, I want to make money. I want it to be worth it to me. But $297, that's worth it to me. That's worth it to me to help somebody for 30 days. It really is. Some guys will be greedy and say, no, I got to have $1,000. But you know what? If I get multiple people to give me $297, I'm fine with that. I'm happy with that, okay? And I can get a lot more people to give me that $297 and be, they're getting the value, I'm getting the value, It just makes sense. So when you're trying to find a price for your price point, think about that. Think about your end customer. And a lot of guys will say, charge as much as you possibly can. And I am a huge fan of mid and higher ticket products, but I'm not a fan of overcharging mid to high ticket products. You know, some guys sell things for $2,000 that really should be about $200. And I think that, in all fairness, we should keep that in mind. What is your offer really worth as a value? Now, it could absolutely be to the right person. It could be worth $2,000. Like this, for example, this 30-day challenge is worth $1,000 all day long, because the people who go through it will learn how to make, I mean, it'll be nothing to be able to make $1,000 once you learn this, when you go through this process and understand how these information products can change your life. $1,000 is nothing in the grand scheme of things, because you know that you can go out and make $100,000. And so it's just a mind shift, right? And so to bring that point out, I'm going to basically wrap this case study up. Oh, I did want to tell you, how did I get people in here? Well, the first place I started for $297 was I sent this out to the people who bought the $20, $25 ebook the first time, right? I send it out to them because they just went through this process, right? And the next logical step in that process is, man, I sure would love some help to do this. This sounds like a great process, but golly, now I've read the ebook, or I've gone through the course, and now it's like, okay, really, what do I do now? And it's so funny that how we can go through a course and that happens, and we get that feeling of, okay, I just went through this whole course and I have no clue what is the next step that I'm supposed to take here. And I don't even know how that happened. It's like, I swear I was paying attention, right? And so it's immensely valuable to your customer to extend and offer them that additional help. It's huge value to them. The people that have bought your initial front-end ebook or course, they're going to realize the value because they want to do the process. If they bought it and they go through it and they say, man, I really like this, they're going to want that help. Many of them, not all of them, but many of them will. And so that's going to be your first initial customer. That's the first place you're going to offer it. So focus on getting those initial ebook sales, and then offer them a 30-day challenge, or offer them any kind of, it could be whatever you can think of, whatever will benefit them. What's the next logical step in your process to help them with their thing? And you want to offer that next. Okay, it's not necessarily something that you put right out there in the open, but you can. See, I also sent this to my entire email list, people that didn't. See, I started with the people that initially bought it, but since I've been creating info products for many years, I've built a customer list for myself. And let that be a lesson that you want to always be building an email list when you're selling your info products. That is the most life-changing part of it. The info products are great, but the email list is even more valuable because you can email those people anytime, any day, and get pretty much instant sales. And so that was the case here. After I emailed my first batch of customers that initially bought the ebook, then I emailed all of my customers that have ever bought anything from me, and I got a ton of sales from that too. And so, and so it's a leveling up process. You're taking them up that ladder, the next logical step. All right. Show them how to do it themselves. Then do it with them. And if you can or want to, offer to do it for them. If you look at Frank Kern, that's his whole business model is, I'll teach you how to do it, but I'm going to sell you me doing it for you. Because you can go watch his videos. He has some insanely good content on like his Facebook Lives. And he'll teach a really good method. And then he'll say at the end of the video, every video, and say, oh, by the way, if that sounds really good to you and you like that method and you like that process, and you're thinking, man, I would really like this guy to just do it for me, go to kerncall, whatever his .com is, and it's really, it just works. That's the process he uses. Very simple. I like the simple stuff. Making that level up from $20 to $297, you're talking about a lot more money for a lot less sales. And it's just as simple to sell, really. You can go out and sell this. You can go out and sell, instead of your ebook, you can sell straight to the 30-day challenge. You could go out in the same process of, going to Facebook groups, providing value, or having a Facebook group, building a Facebook group, and offering a free report, quote unquote, which is 42-page long sales letter for the most part, but that's offering value. And that's the key difference. In a sales letter, just a straight sales letter, you're not necessarily always revealing a lot of stuff, right? But in an ebook, you're expected to teach a lot more, right? And so in this way, you're kind of combining the two. You're teaching while selling. And it makes the selling part a whole lot easier because you've just taught them something that's, oh my gosh, And then you make the offer. It's just a natural progression. Because you just taught them something of immense value. And so you can offer to get access into your free Facebook group, a free report, right? A free report. And your report, after they get into the group, your report, you just link to it on a pin post or something. Here's the free report. And it's a Google document, or it's a PDF. It doesn't have to be in Google Docs. It could be a PDF that you host in Dropbox or Google Drive. Okay. Don't let the Google documents, you get stuck with that. The point is not having to use a website, right? Not having to build a freaking sales page and that kind of thing. We just want to write the text, maybe put a few images in there and be done with it and be able to share it to people and get the sales. And people don't care about the fancy websites. They really don't. They actually love, I've had a lot of people tell me, they actually loved the reading of the Google document because it felt so much different than reading a sales page. If you're on a sales page, it just has that sales page feeling. You're being sold. But a Google document, a PDF, it feels like a high value educational thing, right? And so you have to make it educational. Try not to be too salesy. And you can be too salesy. I was pretty salesy in my super simple sales letter. And I was pretty hypey. I'll be honest. I was fairly hyped in that because I had the results. And that's why I was so hyped, is like, because I've got the proof here that this stuff legit works. And I was letting the results speak for themselves for the most part. If you can do that, you can literally, like, for example, if you have a weight loss system and you can just show picture after picture after picture after picture of people that have used your system and their before and afters, or, if you could do something like that, you don't have to say a whole lot. Really, you don't have to really say a whole lot in the sales process, because that's going to sell them right there. So that's why I was really kind of hyped on mine. But for the most part, you want to be value thinking, value driven, even on the sales page. And especially if you're doing this like a long form Google Doc PDF style thing, be more value driven, and you're going to be able to get those higher mid-ticket sales, and you'll just be able to crush low-ticket sales. It won't even be an issue for low-ticket. It's, they'll just buy all day long. But for mid-ticket, moving it up to the next level, making some bigger money, it works just as effectively, and it's just a total, they're not used to it. So I know this was a very long video. I rambled a lot in a few places. I may or may not go edit them out, but it is what it is. Thanks for sticking around. If you liked this, I got to give you the URL so you can go check it out if you want to. There's the link to that. So if you want to check it out, it's https:// kickingitwithkennedy.com/super simple. And that will take you to that Google document with my super simple 30-day sales challenge that I just showed you this whole time that we've been going over. If you want to read the letter in detail, get really inspired. If you want to join the super simple challenge, that's great too. You can get access to that if you want to, or if you're not, this isn't really pitching you on it, but you can get the help if you want to. So that concludes this case study, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.